So this is your man Mousy coming to you right here from Ghana. I noticed I hadn't really done any beginner lessons, so this lesson is all about that beginner who wants to start playing guitar. Okay, so intermediate and advanced guys, bear with me. So the first thing to look out for is getting the right guitar. Okay, getting and I would really recommend you go with an experienced person, maybe your guitar teacher or a friend who is good at the guitar, because this first step could either encourage you to go on learning the guitar or give up. Okay, so just some little things to look out for. I'm going to give you some highlights of those in this video. Okay, so the first thing would be to get the right size. Okay, so you could go to the shop, wrap your hand around the guitar, see how it feels, because to get good you need to practice. I would recommend at least 15 minutes a day. Okay, so if the guitar is too big for you to hold, that could be one discouraging factor. Okay. Lots of people have given up guitar before they even started because it was quite unbearable to hold. Okay. And the next thing I would talk about is the action. This is really crucial here. Okay, the action is these are the strings. Okay, these are the strings. The height of the strings from the fretboard is what we call the action. Okay, if it's too high, it's going to be tough to get started in the first place. It's going to be hard to press down. Okay, so you might want to ask your friend or the guy at the shop to check that for you. Okay. The next thing would be to look out for the tuners. Okay, these are the tuners. Okay, if they are cheap, the guitar isn't going to stay in tune. Okay, so your teacher teaches you how to tune, or maybe you learn how to tune on YouTube or something, and you're done tuning, you start playing for a minute or two, and it's like it's out of tune, it doesn't sound so good. So that's the next thing I would recommend you look out for. Okay, and to solve all these, it's safe to okay, if you're in Ghana, I would recommend 1,000 Ghana cedi worth of guitar. Okay, so going cheaper than that could be risky. You could get some really cool guitars at 500 Ghana cedi, and if you are in the States, or if you spend the dollar as your currency, then I'll be looking at $300, $200. That's quite safe. But you could get some really good guitars for $100. You never know. It's just go with someone, like I was saying before, and so that's something to really look out for. Okay, so what else? Let's see, what else have I not talked about? Yeah, and the next thing would be the nut width. Okay, so where I'm playing here, this is the nut of the guitar. This white material is the nut. Okay, so the nut width is the spacing from here to here. Okay, the spacing right here is the nut width. So if it's too wide, like a classical guitar, which is 2 inches wide, and you have small hands, that's going to be that might be tough to practice on. Okay, and if you have big hands like mine, maybe bigger, I don't know, and your nut width is small, that could cause some problems. Okay, that could make it tough for you to learn. So I would recommend learning a chord or two, and then like maybe a C, or the open chords, C or E, or a couple of chords, and then try those at the shop before you purchase the guitar. Yes, so to wrap it up, let's look at three more factors. Okay, the first thing here is about how the neck of the guitar feels. Okay, you may not be a player yet, but you could just hold the neck, you know, try a few necks at the shop. You know, if it's got sharp edges, okay, some really cheap guitars have sharp edges, so the fret is poking out like that, and that can be really uncomfortable to practice on. Okay, so watch out for that. And then also what we call the neck profile. So if the neck is too thick for you, that could be also a bit uncomfortable. So you could do just what I was saying before. Just wrap your hand around it, check the edges, make sure it's smooth, and then also if it's not too thick. Okay, some guitars like the Gibsons have quite a thick neck, which some people really like, but you know, just look out for that. Okay, the other thing is about the sound. Okay, you could let the guy you're going with to the shop play a few guitars, so you choose what sounds best to you, because ultimately it's the sound that is going to inspire you to keep playing the guitar. Okay, so that's one thing to look out for. The other thing to look out for, I meant to say. Okay, so one more thing, the last thing actually has to do with the look of the guitar. You know, does it look good? You know, how does it look on you? You know, so if it looks good, it calls you to pick it up and play it. You know, which is what you need to keep you motivated. You know, one of the things. So guitar is science. You know, the way it's put together, it's all science, but it's also art. You know, so it's got to sound good, it's got to look good, it's got to feel good. Those three boxes should be checked. Okay, so the way it looks, really, I think it matters. You know, when I look at my guitar, it's just like, ooh, it's calling me, it's nice, come play me, that kind of thing. So so that's the last thing to consider. Okay, wish you all the best on your first purchase. So all that being said, I'm going to give you your first lesson. Okay, if you've never played the guitar, you've never touched the guitar, you know, you've never played any chords, I'm going to give you your first lesson. Okay, so some people start by teaching the D chord, some the E, the A minor, and so on, but I prefer to begin with a C. Okay, I'm going to explain why later. Okay, so here's your first chord. First of all, let me talk about the parts of the guitar. Okay, I just want to save you some time. You could just go online and just type parts of the guitar. You're going to see everything. Okay, but let me run you through that quickly here. Okay, so this is actually the head. You can call it the headstock of the guitar. Okay, so these are the tuners I was talking about for tuning the guitar. Okay, right here you've got the nut. This is the nut here. They're made of different materials. The cheaper guitars would have plastic. The more expensive guitars would have bone or tusk, you know, ivory, lots of other materials which contribute to the sound of the guitar. Okay, so this is the nut here, and this whole part is the neck of the guitar. Okay, but if you watch the side of the guitar, you can see like a black and then a brown. The black is the fretboard. So in the factory, when they build the guitars, this is actually the fretboard is done separately and you know, stuck onto the neck. Okay, so this is the neck of the guitar, but on the neck we've got the fretboard. Okay, which is where you're going to be playing. So the fret is actually these metals you see here. These are the frets. Okay, so you're going to be playing in between the frets. Okay, so that's the frets, and the neck with a fretboard on top. You can comment in the comment section if you have any questions. Okay, I don't know if I'm rushing this, or just let me know. Okay, so this is the body of the guitar. Okay, this is the body, nice big body. Guitars come in different sizes, like I was saying before. This is the body, and on the body, this is the pick guard. Okay, some folks call it the scratch plate. So if you do a lot of strumming, like this is going to protect the top of the guitar. It's going to protect the top from you from scratching the top. Okay, so this is the pick guard. Okay, pick guard. There it is. And then this is the bridge of the guitar. Okay, it's bridge. It's called a bridge. And then on the bridge, you got the bridge pins. Okay, this is the saddle. Okay, and of course this is the soundhole, which is contributing to the volume you're getting from the guitar. It's a box. So this is to help bring out the sound. Okay, so there's the soundhole. There's the side of the guitar and the back. Okay. Okay. So that was a quick rundown. Okay, so that's just about it. Let's see, I think I left something out. Yeah, so you see this nice decoration around the soundhole. That's actually the rosette. Okay, and some acoustic guitars would come with what we call the strap locks, or the end pins. Oh, not the end pins. Did I get it right? The strap lock. I beg your pardon. Okay, so that is I'm talking about this thing here. This metal right here. Okay, so that is to enable you stand up and play. Okay, so you're gonna put the strap here to hold the guitar. Okay, some guitars have this is the end pin. Okay, so if it's an acoustic electric, if you want to plug it in and play, it's going to go through here. Some guitars have this functioning as the strap lock, as well as the end pin. Okay, so the jack cable is going to go through here. At the same time, you can also put the strap right here. Okay, some guitars have this, and then they also have the end pin right here. Okay, so that's something to note if you intend to stand up and play. Okay, if your hero, your guitar hero, was the standing and playing guy, you need to look out for this. Okay. Okay, so let me also state that there are different types of guitars. Okay, so I wouldn't want you to make the same mistake I made when I started learning. Okay, I was inspired by a steel string guitar, which this is, because the strings are made of steel. Okay, so they sound like so. I was inspired by that to learn the guitar, but because I had little knowledge on guitars, I went all by myself, bought a nylon string guitar. So after playing it for a while, it wasn't too inspiring, because that wasn't what I had in my head when I was I was aiming at learning the guitar. Okay, so basically we've got the steel string and then also the nylon string. Okay, and then aside that, we also have the electric guitar. Okay, so you should know all these before you start, so you pick the right guitar. Okay, so all that being said, let me give you your very first lesson. Okay, I'm going to teach you the C major chord now. It's about time for your first chord, but before then, let's take a look at the strings, shall we? Remember, these are the strings. Okay, these metal, long metal stuff here, these are the strings. Okay, hope my camera is cool for you. Okay, so this is the first string. Okay, I used a funny statement. Doesn't make sense, but it helped me remember. Every boy goes down after eating. Okay, so every, this is E, boy, this is B, goes G, down D, A after, and E, eating. Okay, so these are the strings, names of the strings: E, B, G, D, A, and E. Okay, so you should know that by heart. You could use your own statement if mine doesn't make sense. Okay, so knowing that, you should also know that this is the first string. Okay, it's always tempting to call this the first string when you're starting out, because it's like it's up here and you count down. You read this way, right? You don't read this way, so it's tempting to call this the first string. But this is actually the first string. Okay, and this is the high E. Okay, now high in music has nothing to do with positions or locations. It has everything to do with pitch, sound. Okay, so listen to this. That's high. Listen to this guy. Oh, he's got a low voice. That's a high voice. Okay, so this is the high E and this is the low E. Okay, so this is one, first string, second string, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Okay, so never count it this way. All right, so those are the names of the strings. You should know that by heart. And when you're done knowing that, try this. This is your first chord, the C major chord. This was my first chord anyway. Okay, so the names of the fingers, you could just call this the first finger, second, third, fourth, but I like to call them, should I say, technically. Okay, so this is the first finger. Okay, this is the index finger. You got your middle, you got your ring. If you're married, your ring is probably here, right? Oh, when you get married, it's going to go there. Okay, so that's the ring. And then you got the pinky right here, okay, or the baby finger. You could also call it a little finger, but I like calling it a pinky. Sounds cool. Okay, so let's talk about tuning for a minute. There are so many ways to tune the guitar. These days we've got lots of electronic tuners. You could download an app on Google Play that teaches you how to tune. But I would highly recommend getting used to tuning by ear. Okay. Yeah, some people may argue it's not the best because it's not accurate and all that, but developing a good ear, okay, is my point here. Okay, so you could download an app called a Guitar Tuner. It's just called Guitar Tuner. You would see a nylon guitar's headstock. That's what the icon looks like on Google Play. Okay, so you could also tune with a piano by starting from the middle C. Okay, if you're not familiar with those terminologies, you could also download an app called Perfect Piano. Okay, so your first E, this high E string, would be E4 on the piano, E4. Okay, and then the B here, this B would be B3. Okay, so you would see that on the perfect piano I'm talking about. And then the G string is actually a G3 as well. You see G3, and then the D is also a D3. Okay, and then the A is an A2, and then the low E here is also an E2. Okay, so just download Perfect Piano and excuse me, try to get used to tuning by ear. Okay, like I said, there are lots of apps there. You know, you play, you just tune and they tell you whether you're in tune or not. But what happens when you're playing on stage and your guitar goes slightly out of tune? You stop playing and tune and get back. I've been to be practical, I think it's best to get used to tuning by ear. Okay. So that's one way to tune, or how many ways was that? Okay, that's a couple of ways to tune. Tuning by the piano, tuning by this app called the Guitar Tuner. You just tap it and it gives you the sound of the high E, so you listen and tune to that. Okay, you're going to make lots of mistakes. You could break a string. It's all part of the learning process. Okay, so be patient. Your ear will pick up the right sound with time. Okay. Yes. So the other way to tune is to tune one string. So I could tune the low E here. Okay. And then once you have this low E here in tune, okay, just go to the 5th fret. Okay. Play that, and then play the A string. That should sound exactly like the low E at the 5th fret. Okay. The reason why this is so is because these strings are a fourth apart. What I mean by fourth is when you take the major scale, do, re, mi, fa. Okay, we haven't learned the major scale, but I'm just explaining something. So do, re, mi, fa. Okay, so the fourth of E is actually A. Okay, so that's why it's working like that. So next thing is to go to the A, and then play that at the 5th fret again. Okay, now the D string should sound like the A string at the 5th fret. Okay, so now play the D string free. They should sound the same. Same process, just go to D, 5th fret. Now play the G string, should sound like so. Okay, now the trick is when you get to the 3rd string. Now the 3rd string is you would have to go to the 4th fret. The reason being that the G string and the B string are a third apart. It goes to do, re, sorry, do, re, mi. Okay. So nothing confusing here. Just follow the 5th fret, and when you get to the G string, just go to the 4th fret. Okay, and now the B string should sound like G at the 3rd fret. Okay, now when you get to the B string, just go back to the 4th fret. Okay, the high E string should sound like B at the 5th fret. Okay, so that's another way to tune. Okay, got questions? Comment below, and I will address them for you. Okay. Okay, so index is right here on the B string at the 1st fret. Remember, these are frets. We talked about this earlier. Okay, and I said you're not going to be playing on the metal, but in the spaces, right? Index is going to be right here on the 2nd string, which is the B string at the 1st fret. Okay, next up is the middle finger, the long guy. Okay, is going to be right here at the 2nd fret. Okay, 2nd fret on the D string. So you've got 2 set down. Last but not least is the ring finger. It's going to be right here on the A string at the 3rd fret. Okay, so this is your C major chord. Okay, you are restricted to what strings to play, and that's how the guitar works. So you're not supposed to touch the low E string, this guy right here. Okay, don't touch him when you're playing this chord. So this is your C major chord. So now this is what puts a lot of people off. You know, you hear this, you try it, and you get something like this. Yeah, you've probably been there. If not, prepare for that. Okay, so let me show you what could be the issue. Okay. Yeah, so this could be a few causes for that. First of all, make sure you have no nails, as in take off your nails. Mine are probably too long right now because it's been a while I practiced, so you should take off the nails, okay? Otherwise, they're really going to cause those buzzes when you're trying to play the chord, okay? The next thing is to make sure you don't touch the other strings unnecessarily with your fingers. So if you look at my ring finger right now, okay, it's supposed to hold down the A string at the 3rd fret, and that's it. Now, as a beginner, you could be touching the D string here with the lower part of the ring finger. Okay, so that's one thing to look out for. Yeah, the other thing sometimes would have to do with the pressure you're exerting on the strings. Okay, it could be inadequate pressure. Okay, so keep those in mind. So once again, make sure your nails are shorter than mine, and then make sure you're not touching other strings with your fingers unnecessarily. Yes. And the next thing is to play close to the fret behind the finger. So that's what I'm talking about. If this is supposed to be on the A string, okay, yes, make sure you close to this fret, okay, and not this fret. That could be difficult to, that would make it difficult to get a good sound. Okay, so play close to this fret. Okay, same with the other fingers. Okay, see what I mean? Same with this finger. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Play close to the fret behind the finger. Okay, not here, here, but do not play on the fret. Okay. Okay, a little troubleshooting for you. Hope that works out for you. Avoid the low A string. Okay. Okay, so a quick look at the right hand. Okay, I'm actually have a thumb pick on now. You could also get a flat pick. Okay, I have none at the moment, but it's just pointing the pick, the pointed part to the guitar and playing down. Okay, so here's the C chord. Okay, it should sound so. Okay, should be nice and clean. Just tuning that G string again. Okay, all right, so avoid playing it all at once when you begin, like, you know, because you may not really know what's causing the buzz. So play string by string. So let's say you did this, and this was like, you know, check what the problem is, you know, see if you're not touching it accidentally with the other fingers, and proceed. Okay, so after a while of consistent practice, you should get this. Then you can do yeah, so that's it for this video. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Okay, I'm gonna do a part 2, a part 3, and then maybe a part 4, so you can follow. And in a couple of in a couple of weeks, you should be playing the guitar if you're consistent with my videos. Okay, feel free to comment, ask any questions. Also comment, let me know what I can do to improve this. I always appreciate that. Okay, so see you in the next video.